it's safe and you're able to socially distance in a reasonable way. So yeah, my name is Jasha, and we're going to bring an array of talent for you from local Oklahomans in support of the census, as well as voting efforts in the state of Oklahoma. With respect to the census, I just want to bring up that the Constitution says the census counts everyone living in the United States, every immigrant, every child, every neighbor, every student, everyone, for purposes of congressional apportionment and also to determine how to distribute federal funding. So those taxpayer dollars that get sent to Washington, to Congress, our numbers in our census count determines how much money we get back into our communities. So it's about money, representation, and power. How we build out our towns, our cities, our neighborhoods, how many hospitals we get, how much school funding we get, which can impact the school breakfast and lunch programs. It impacts healthcare access, such as Medicaid, which is a lot of our census which is a lot of dollars, federal dollars that comes into our state that is greatly dependent on census data or the census count. We've been doing these virtual programs since Census Day back in April. Every 10 years is when the census happens. So the last time we had a count of everybody in the United States, it was back in 2010. And this time in 2020, we're able to do the census in wider formats. So you can still do the traditional, filling out the form by paper and mailing it in, or what's really accessible is the online survey. So as you notice, we have the scroll down here. We'll put forward information about the census, but also you can go to my2020census.gov and do your census survey if you haven't done it yourself. Sometimes, depending on how long it might take you to read through the questions, it can take as little as 5 to 15 minutes, but mostly on the side of 5. With the census information, it's collected individually as far as the household's concerned, but your identifying information is not presented in the data itself. So it's all grouped together, and so your your identity to your address is not released. There is federal law that prohibits the Census Bureau from releasing any of your private information to any governmental entity. No, they can't release it to law enforcement. They can't release it to immigration officials. It's completely confidential. So we continually encourage you to get off the count, do your census. If you're somebody who can't vote, this is your way to represent in the census, is to make sure that you're counted either by doing it yourself, or if you live in a household with others, making sure that the person who is responsible for you is doing the census. So many of our kids get left out of the count, and we definitely need those dollars for our children in terms of public education, community safety, just so much access to resources that we would need that's dependent on census data. So I'm going to bring up, before I bring up my friends, I want to mention that as you're viewing this program, please comment and share the event. We're showing you the emojis you can comment with in viewing our talent tonight. So for every talent that comes on the screen, if you feel so moved, we're encouraging you to comment in response of emojis in honor and recognition of National, or it might be World Emoji Day. That was just a couple days ago, July 17th. So just for fun, if you can give a thumbs up if you're kind of like, well, it was good, or a heart because you just loved it, clapping hands like because you're just feeling it, throwing your hands up in the air with the two hands, and then fire if you just felt that was amazing. Bonus is just the 100s, like straight across, like that tops everything for you. But yes, please comment, please share. As you share, you'll be able to be entered in, and as you share and comment, you'll be entered into a random drawing of one of 3 gift cards. We're giving out 3 gift cards tonight. So please, again, comment and share. The more shares, the more comments, the more chances your name gets entered into a chance for one of 3 gift cards. So without further ado, I'm going to bring out my friends, some of the Together Oklahoma organizers. We have Roxanne and Kyle. and Jacoby. Hi, guys. I have to duck.
Hello,
Thank you,
hello.
Jessica. So Roxanne is our Southeast organizer, Kyle is our senior organizer, and Jacoby is our Southwest organizer in terms of the state of Oklahoma. So I'll go with Roxanne first. Yay, good to have you listening in. Um, so Roxanne, can you share anything about census engagement or voting engagement? What's important to you about it?
Well, I really think that voter engagement and census engagement kind of go hand in hand. First of all, I think census engagement gives a voice to the people in the total representation that they receive in the government. I also support the census because of the hospitals and the medical care it brings to our communities. And also one of my big focuses is mental health. And I think the more people that are counted, the more money we can receive for mental health.
Cool, thank you, Roxanne. I'll just maybe refresh your screen. You're cutting out a little bit, but I think we got the majority of it and the importance of census and voting engagement and its relation to your work, your passion behind mental health. All that was on point. Kyle, can you offer us some thoughts on census and voting engagement?
Yeah, I think it's extremely important that everybody is counted, especially counting all the children in the household, because your kids count too. So make sure you're counting everybody in the household and everybody that was there as of April 1st. And I think that's extremely important because those are a lot of dollars that you're bringing back to your community. Don't quote me on this, but I know it's over $100,000 over 10 years. Is that right, Jasha? That households lose out on?
It's about $2,000 a person. So yeah, what is that? 20,000 in 10 years for one person. If you have like five people in a household, that is 100,000. You have what, five households in your neighborhood? That's $500,000. Crazy.
Yeah, so it's extremely important that you bring those dollars back to your community to improve your community and especially things like education and as Roxanne stated, mental health as well. It's extremely important that we have voter engagement going into November. If you haven't yet, make sure that your voter registration is up to date. Make sure you're asking your friends on social media and different platforms that you utilize. Not only are they registered, but is their voter registration currently up to date? And make sure you help them and walk them through that process. And then another great way to vote in the state of Oklahoma is voting by mail. It's super easy. Senator Connie Johnson about 5 years ago got me hooked onto voting by mail. And she said you can vote from the comfort of your home, sitting in your recliner, and make your decision and make your voice be heard. So update your voter registration, get your friends registered to vote, and definitely look at voting by mail.
Thank you. Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, we and maybe Jacoby can speak to this too. Um, we were coordinating notaries for the last election that was had June 30th, the primary election, where the state question 802 was on the ballot, which we were able to pass a Medicaid expansion. So it seems we might have to also, again, potentially do another notary drive. It was amazing to see the communities come together from across the state to make sure people were able to access voting safely at this time. So yeah, Jacoby, could you speak to the same question of, you know, what is census engagement and voting engagement look like to you or mean to you?
Well, I think by far, this past election, the primary itself had a great opportunity to a push towards individuals being registered to vote as well as participating in their opportunity to actually vote itself. I think by far that we have even a great opportunity moving forward because there's still a lot of strides that needs to be taken and a lot of efforts that needs to be released and moved up. But I think by far we can, when it talks about voters engagement, we're talking about a lot of other individuals to be involved evolve. So you may be a registered voter, you may be an individual that votes every election. I'm talking about school board elections, I'm talking about dog catcher elections, whatever you vote for. You may be that individual that is just a hardcore voter, but now we need you in another lane, and that may be for you to become a notary and to help other individuals move in that direction of also becoming a hardcore voter, so they can allow their voices to be heard. So I think this is a great opportunity. We have a few months coming up before the general election in November, but I think this is a great opportunity to engage in more and more people in connection with voting itself and also allowing their voices to be heard. And throughout the Southwest Oklahoma, we're having volunteers coming out of everywhere because they understand the importance of where we are at today and the things that we need to see accomplished in the near future, and also pushing for the census. I think it's really important to make sure that each and every voice and each and every person is counted in order for us to have our programs and things within our organizations throughout this state benefit from it.
I couldn't hit my mute. Thank you so much. Yes, powerful words from all of you, and I appreciate like all the hard work that y'all have been doing on your own individual levels as well as within our organization. I know, and maybe Kyle can speak to this real quick, that we will have a voter guide coming out. Is that correct?
We do currently have that. It's on our Together Oklahoma Facebook page. It just walks you through information you need to know around voting.
Perfect. Yes, and then we also have our census work as well on our Together Oklahoma, togetheroklahoma.org is our website. You can view our work and our efforts, and we'll have some of our chapter representatives that will come on tonight in between some of the talent to talk to you more about how you can get involved in some of this work. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and move on in our program because y'all are here for the talent, right? You need to come to hear us talk. But yes, we're here for the census, we're here for voter engagement, and we're also here to see some of this amazing assortment of talent that our organizers reached out to within their networks. So Darian Martinez, if you could go ahead and make your way to the stage. Hey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
So, Darian, could you tell us briefly who you are and what you're going to do?
Yeah,
and then we'll let you get to it.
Of course. My name is Darian Martinez. My pronouns are she, her, hers, ella. I'm currently the youth organizing coordinator for Dream Action Oklahoma. And yeah, I am going to be reading a poem I made.
Thank you. And real quick before I forgot to ask, I'd be remiss. Can you say anything about census and voting engagement to you and your work or your community?
Yeah, no, of course.
You got love.
It's extremely, extremely important, especially for our Latinx community. A lot of the time we're underrepresented. And a lot of the time, a lot of people don't really know or are in fear that their information will be given to ICE or CBP or anything like any of those organizations that are kind of detention and deportation machines that are working against us. But the reality is that we need to be heard and that we need to be counted. And that is reflected on the census and when we're voting. And especially for people who have the privilege like myself that are born here, we need to make sure that we are voicing the opinion of our community, because there are a lot of people who don't have that right. And yeah, that's why it's really important.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's incredibly important and relevant right now, especially with the release of the current executive action by the Trump administration, which is unconstitutional. The census is mandated by the Constitution. So this is pre-nationhood, if not right at the beginning of nationhood. So yes, let's make sure we're all counted. And yeah, Darian, could you go ahead? Thank you so much.
Thank you. This poem's called People Power, and I'll begin. Too many lives have been lost for me to keep sitting still. in a system that took them against their own will. No taxation without representation was what set us apart. But I want free migration for my people, and they don't want to take part. So where is our representation? Are we included in this conversation between people who know nothing about being in our shoes? People who make decisions for us without having anything to lose. I am tired of the same bullshit that goes on in the state. I am tired of the bigotry, the oppression, and the hate that my community experiences without a second glance from the people in power who never gave us a chance. Well, I think, in my humble opinion, that it's time for a change. I know, in Oklahoma, that might sound a bit strange, but I have found my voice, and I will say that my people and my community are here to stay. I want to see people power, power to our people, because congressional seats must be given to our sisters and brothers. Our representatives will be lied to even by our own mothers. I want, as leaders, brown and Black queens, not the governor who tested positive for COVID-19. No more white men in power. No more living in chains. I want to see liberation. I want it running through my veins. I want to be heard and I want to be seen. I don't care if I need to shout or sometimes even scream, because the day has arrived where my existence is noticed. Politicians now tremble. My presence scares the POTUS. But this change that I speak of must start with you and me. This change that I envision must become a reality. So get out and go vote. Go straight to the polls. Get counted and note that we must take back our control, because the change, it is coming, and it's beginning with you and me. This change that I envision is emerging from our community. And that's that. Thank you.
All right. I don't know if you can hear. That's amazing. I'm so glad you kicked us off tonight with this amazing, powerful poem, spoken word, just truth. So yeah, really appreciate you, Darian, and your work and your passion at such a young age. We need more of that, and I hope that you've inspired other generations. Before we let you go, where do you have a call to action or any kind of contact for either you or your work? The snap emoji, right?
Yes, absolutely. So if anyone would like to contact me, my email is darian@dreamact.org. And if you'd like to know more about the work that Dream Action Oklahoma does, you can follow Dream Action Oklahoma on Facebook, and Dream Action Oklahoma on Instagram and Twitter. We're doing really, really phenomenal work. And of course, it comes with community all the time. So we need your support in that for everyone.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Darian. It's nice to meet you. Hopefully we'll get to visit again sometime. And we'll go ahead and move to our next talent, Parker Cunningham. Are you available?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Doing so good. How are you guys tonight?
Doing all right. We just had that amazing poetry, and I'm so excited to see your offering. Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe your organization you're affiliated with, and then the importance of the census and/or voting for you?
Yeah, my name is Parker Cunningham. I am the LGBTQ advocate for Free Mom Hugs. We are a now national nonprofit, and we just get moms together to, yes, show up at Pride and give hugs, but also to just be a safe place for the LGBTQ plus communities. For me, I mean, of course, being an advocate for an organization, you have to take, everyone into consideration. But, for me, I spent my life, realizing that I, was part Hispanic and I was LGBTQ plus, but I also took a long time to realize that I had full white male privilege, and I wasn't using it because that part of me didn't felt heard, So now I just, vote for all my friends and all my family and the communities that we serve, and it's just so important because there are a lot of people that don't feel heard. So why would they show up? So the more that we vote for them and with them in mind, and show our love to them in that way, then, you know, the more they feel heard and validated and welcome in this world with all of us, you know.
That's wonderful, and I appreciate you for volunteering your talents for us tonight. I'm so excited. I see you got an instrument,
Yes.
and I recently came back to an instrument that I played when I was a child, and I've been joking about this is the whole reason why I wanted to do the talent show was so I could play it.
Oh yeah, no, you should have. You should have.
No,
You'll
no,
have
no,
to
no.
practice something before the end of the show.
Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, I'll just leave it to the real deals. Yeah, could you go ahead and go on with your song? Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. When the night has come and the land is dark, oh,
Hey, so I thought that might have been on my end, but I guess it wasn't just me. Parker, you're breaking up a little bit. I don't know if you're able to stream from your phone, like if you're able to use data, not Wi-Fi, if that will help your connection. If you need a moment to take to set that up, we can go on with the next person and then come back to you if you can hear me. Thumbs up. Oh, he's frozen. Okay, so we're gonna hear Parker for sure later. I hope in its entirety. He sounded amazing as he was singing. So let's go ahead and go to Tasha Johnson. Are you available still?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, there you
Okay.
are.
I hope mine doesn't go out.
Oh, you look good. Everything sounds good. I mean, it could be misleading though. I mean, technical glitches just happen here and there.
I know.
So
I know.
it's Oklahoma. We don't have the best broadband access, which you can help if you fill out your census.
I've already done it. I've already done
Awesome.
mine. Yes.
So yes, Miss Tasha, if you could tell us briefly who you are, maybe if you're part of an organization or tied to community work, and then the importance of the census or voting engagement to you. We'd love
Okay.
to hear
Well,
that.
I'm from Texas. I live in Texas. I'm from Hurst, Texas. And I joined a lot of Black Lives Matter groups from Texas to London, just so I could share my poems to uplift and encourage my people. I've been writing since college. But as far as the census, I didn't really know. I knew that it had to do with, bringing money to the community and everything, but I didn't really know how much until you said how much, per person. I didn't know that. But I've said before, I've done my census. I believe that everybody should be counted as well as voting. And trust me, I am registered to vote and I will be voting. So.
Awesome. Yes, yes, yes. I know some of the trainings that I've been to and just conversations in community that voting and I hope census participation is something that is emphasized as like a cultural thing, like it's part of your dynamic in your family or your community. Like that's something that many of your family members, especially if you're people whose rights had been suppressed or been
Right.
oppressed. Yeah, a lot of our ancestors fought for these rights.
Exactly.
RIP to Representative Lewis. fought for the right, civil rights, and to the very end. And so we owe it to people like him, those folks those elder folks who did the work and did their time. And now for some of us young ones, and you look fairly young, Miss Tasha.
I am. I'm 29.3, but go ahead.
That's right. Yeah. But I mean, we're still able to do what we need to do. So pushing out the message. And again, if you like Stream and Share, for those of you in the audience right now watching, that is part of sharing in this process and making sure everybody's counted, and then also contributing to our state, to our communities. So yeah, Miss Tasha, if you're ready, let's hear you.
I'm ready. So
Yeah.
I have two poems. This first one is called Keep Your Head Up. And I wrote this because I saw a Black man with his head down, and I was like, you cannot do that. So anyway, it's called Keep Your Head Up. And it is, this was written to all Black men. Hey, Black man, we see you trying to carry the weight of the world on your back. Some can only imagine living in a world where you're hunted because you're Black, trying to struggle and fight just to stay alive, hoping you'll make it home to your family just one more night. The everyday things that you do aren't safe anymore. I mean, just taking a walk to the store, only to get home and have the police knock down your door. We see you, brother, knowing you want to pass this cup. We love you, Black man. Please keep your head up. God is good, and he's all-knowing. He blessed you with a skin tone so perfect, beautiful, and glowing. Those racists can't take it to see a mighty strong Black man, yet they spend hours in the sun trying to turn paleness into a tan. Some say it's hate, or maybe even jealousy. But if I was a white man, deep down as you, I desire to be. You work hard just to get where you are, starting from the bottom, ending up on top. The tests and setbacks were unbearable, but didn't cause you to stop. They wanted to break you and put you out of the game. Unlike them, you weren't looking for others to blame. You dug a little deeper, burned the midnight oil. They held you back down, but you didn't recoil. We see you, brother. We know what's up. But please, Black man, keep your head up. BLM supporters have really shown out, risking their lives to show the world there's no doubt that there's no law that says families have to be the same color. Red, yellow, brown, and white men are now considered brothers, standing on the front lines between you and bad cops, with their hands raised in the air, saying, please, just stop. I've seen Indian, Muslim, and Asian women marching in the streets, banners, signs, fist raised, shouting no justice, no peace. These same people know the system is flawed. Watching Mr. Floyd get murdered, they stepped up and answered the call. Black man, you're a precious jewel. We need you on this earth. We are standing, fighting, and kneeling to protect your worth. Black man, we sisters need you for comfort, support, and love. Our Black children need you. You're more than enough. Most importantly, Black brothers need you. So let's get this straight. The killings among you is at such a high rate. It's time to build up, not tear down. We're being murdered by cops. Now's not the time to clown. Each one, reach one, to teach one. Show the young ones how it's done. The world is at war. We're fighting an evil source. Black men, put your minds together. History proves you are a force. Force and strength in mind, body, and soul. Under pressure, you will not fold. I've said it once, I'll say it again. We see you, Black man. Yeah, this world's messed up. But for the sake of your race, Black man, please keep your head up. That's that one. This next one is called 8 minutes and 46 seconds. So in this poem, the numbers 1 through 8 are in bold. So when I get to the end and it says, when it talks about putting the bold words together, you'll understand. Again, it's called 8 minutes and 46 seconds. This is long, but so has been our fight for equality. 1963, Dr. King spoke of his dream and how Negroes weren't free. Almost 60 years later, blackballed for taking a knee. Let freedom ring from here to there. Almost 60 years later, can't wrestle, graduate, or get hired because of the way we style our hair. Free at last, free at last. Standing on the balcony, they heard the blast. One day to celebrate his memory, that's all we get. Almost 60 years later, no justice, no peace, lest we forget. Just 8 years before, Emmett visited a store. He was 14 years old and wanted to hang with young men. Skipping church was where the trouble began. Whistling at a white girl, he thought he could, unless you asked a coward wearing the white hood. 2 white men thought they'd handle the law. Taken from his home, his parents would never see him again. Not that night, nor the next. No, never at all. It'd only been 3 days when he'd first arrived. 3 days later, he was no longer alive. They said they did it. White girl said she lied. They were found not guilty. This was 1955. Emmett Till's mama received an apology from the state. 52 years later, please, your apology's too late. F-A-K-E, 4 letters. These 4 letters was all it took for Samaria's son's life to get taken by a cop crook. 12-year-old Tamir playing cops and robbers in the park. Someone calls the cops. When they arrived, he became their target. He was marked. They pulled up. The car continued to roll. This is when the murder began to unfold. No warnings given, no questions asked. To the white man, it didn't matter. This kid was Black. 6 years later, no punishment seen. June 25th, Tamir was to turn 18. This one right here really gets to me. George Stinney Jr. only weighed about 90. 14 years old, he stood 5 feet 1. 1944 was when this mess had begun. 2 little white girls went missing from home. Everyone went out searching. The area was combed. They were found murdered, killed with a spike. All of this happened while out on their bikes. They thought, had to be a big man. Who'd be so mean? Let's arrest the Black boy. Who cares he's only 14? Took him to jail, kept him away from his mama for 81 days alone to deal with the trauma. We got a confession. This makes us look good. They won't mention they starved him and bribed him with food. George goes to trial, and in just 10 short minutes, they said he was guilty, death by electric. George didn't do it, so who can we blame? 70 years later, they cleared his name. He confessed in his bed before he would die. The guilty one, some wealthy white guy. 2014, the case was retried. Why? What for? He had already died. August 14, just 6 years ago, a sister lost her life, Michelle Cousseau. Cops arrived at her house, told she's mentally ill, answered the door with a hammer raised above her head. If she were white, would she be shot dead? Toxicology stated booze and drugs. She may have been drunk or maybe high. But does all of that mean the force was justified? Before they killed her, how would they know? Why would it even matter? We all know it's nothing but lies, just idle chitter chatter. Eric Garner, approached by the cops just for selling cigs. If you ask me, ain't nothing wrong with this hustle. The man was trying to live. Even though there were witnesses who testified what he said was true, they still jumped on his back and choked him for the purpose to subdue. 7 minutes. Dying, he laid on the ground, while the crooked, lying, murdering cops all just stood around. Imagine sleeping peacefully, and in the middle of the night, you hear the sounds of people breaking in, mad like they want to fight. Who is it? Who is it? Who's there? They cried. No one responded, not one reply. To protect his home, Kenneth started to shoot. They fired back with a goal to execute. One cop was shooting blindly through a covered window from outside. When they filed the report, every one of them lied. Hit 8 times, Breonna Taylor died. What wrongdoing? They say is justified. Wrong people, wrong house. No drugs, another Black life lost. Don't you think for 2 minutes what I wrote wasn't true? Because if you do, the problem is you. You say, well, don't run away, don't resist, just comply. Would you say that to Ahmaud without batting an eye? For 46 seconds, we had to witness 3 fat, nasty racists tried to make it their business to stop a black man who was out for a gun, who was out for a run. Weak-ass punks showed up with a gun. The words in bold are leading up to be another sad story. George Floyd, May 2020. Forced him down, faced on the ground, 3 men on one. Why? Did you think he would run? Held him down by his legs, back and chest, while one felt a pleasure from putting his knee on his neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, 46 seconds. My prayers one day soon, justice will be served. My black people didn't get what they deserved. Until then, we'll continue what must be done till all bad cops live out their lives in prison. That's it.
Thank you so much. Such timely comments, but also I really appreciated just your narrative and the way that you're able to describe and capture what's been happening and what continues to happen. And it was just taking it in still really moving. Thank you so much, Tasha.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then you've been able, you said, to travel and share?
No, I shared online in the different Black Lives Matter groups. So I belong to your group, or in Oklahoma, California, Florida, London, all over, just so I can share the poems.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And yeah, it was amazing. Hopefully we'll be able to stay in touch. And yeah,
well, thank you for the invite. Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Thank you. So I believe I got word that Parker is back better than ever. Yeah.
Hopefully. There's a little more echo in this room too, so it might be a little more sauntery.
Like we're in a hall somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Yeah.
All
Does
right.
it sound okay?
Yeah, you sound fine.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome.
We'll let you get to it.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Take 2. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, stand by me. Won't you stand by me? Won't you stand? Won't you stand by me? So darling, stand by me. Won't you stand by me? Won't you stand? Won't you stand by me? If the sky that you look upon should tumble and fall, and the mountains should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, I won't cry, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. So darling, stand by me. Won't you stand by me? Won't you stand? Won't you stand by me? So darling, stand by me. Won't you stand by me, won't you? Won't you stand by me? So darling, darling, stand by me, won't you? Stand by me, won't you stand? Won't you stand by me? Thank you.
Yay! We heard it in its entirety.
Thank you.
Take two.
Yay.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much. We're gonna go ahead and move on to our next person. Good to meet you, Parker.
Absolutely. Bye. Thanks.
So just real quick, want to remind you all why you're here. We're here to make sure everyone is aware and informed about the census and how to do the census. The census ensures a complete, census is necessary to ensure a complete count of all of our state's residents. Given the much needed dollars that our state stands to lose, we talked about that. It's about $2,000 per person. With a complete count, we can provide public health, educational, housing, and transportation resources. Just a second, thank you. Somebody entered the room and I couldn't hear myself. So every person counts regardless of age. Every person living in the US as of April 1st needs to be counted. So all the fresh babies, all your elderlies, anybody that is non-related to you that's living in your household needs to be counted. We need a complete count in order to ensure that the much needed dollars that our communities deserve that we have already put in come back to us. Non-citizens have been included in the census and for congressional representation throughout our nation's history, including under both Republican and Democratic administrations. Your political representation should reflect what your state really looks like. So without further ado, we're going to move on to our next talent. They're actually here with me, and we've been safely practicing social distancing in our own home. No, I'm just kidding. It's my husband, Bunky Echohawk. He's an artist. I will share the stage. No, he's going to be, go ahead, do your thing. They can't hear you though, so let me figure this out real quick. Let's see. I have to take these out of my ears and put these in his ears. So bear with me. I've got to deplug my AirPods. I'm still here. If y'all can hear me, I apologize. Let's disconnect these. There we go. All right, I'm back. Can y'all hear me? Can I get a thumbs up? Hello, Jessica. Brenda's here. Hi, Brenda.
Hello.
Okay, there we go. So we are trying to maneuver the sound. I hope you can hear me right now, and I'm moving closer because I've been told that it's hard to hear me when I don't have these in. I'm going to go ahead and give these to you, Guy. And then I'm going to give you Bunky, and he'll tell you who he is, what he does, why census and voting engagement, and he'll perform his task. Brief switch off again. Love technology, living in this time. So I will turn them on. I'm gonna pop off again. You might see my pretty picture, I hope. Let's see, I am still here. Uh-oh, it's freezing. It's freezing. Here we go. Yep, they're connected. They might not have heard me while you were talking. Oh, well. Yeah, you good. So tell them who you are, what you do, all the things.
No, I don't know if it's okay. No, akitaru charik tatasa saweta tatasa Bunky Echohawk. My name is Bunky Echohawk. I am excited to be here and to participate. I'm hoping you can hear me. I'm not sure if
They would say. Jessica
okay.
would say, because I'll take this out and see.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're heard.
Okay, cool.
You just can't hear me.
Yeah, So the census is extremely important to participate in. It's once in a decade count to to ensure our not only for our community but for the state, for the nation. But it's for Oklahoma, it's really important for our communities to participate in, to ensure that our communities have access to a lot of various programs, and in so many ways, our communities depend on it, and it will depend on it for the next decade. And statistically, we've been undercounted, and it's really imperative that we participate in it. And it's something that is so easy to do, and I really need us to step up and take part of that, so it's really important that we participate in it. So anyway, I was gonna tease Jasha and play this flute and make her fall in love with me again, but might be too much love medicine going on here, and we don't need that. So anyway, what I wanted to do is to share a song right here, hand drum song. And this one is I love it because it's a round dance song. It's a social dance song, and what it is it's the first part is in vocables. It's a straight melodic, but it also has English songs, and the English songs are it's like a love song, and it kind of comes from a time not too long ago, like a few decades back. And it's called I'm from Oklahoma, and it's known throughout the powwow circuit, and it's definitely an Oklahoma song, Southern style round dance song. But anyways, it's one of the songs that is really well known from the state of Oklahoma. But it's kind of like a underground kind of Oklahoma Indian song. But to me, it celebrates the hard to count population that is Indian country, and it celebrates our native communities in a way that our communities took the English language and learned it and implemented it into our culture and adapted it to our into our songs and stuff. So without further ado, I'm from Oklahoma, got no one for my own, so I come here looking for you. Hi, if you be my honey, I will be your sugar. Hi, 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 I'm from Oklahoma, got no one for my own, so I come here looking for you. Hi, if you be my honey, I will be your sugar. Hi, 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 hi. Oklahoma, got no one for my own, so I come here looking for you, hon. If you be my honey, I will be your sugar pie, oh, hi, 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 hi. You kind of can't see it because the camera's focused on me, but Jaysha was really dancing over here in the room next to me. But just appreciate the opportunity to share that song and a little bit of the background of it. But yes, just like much like that song says, that that song is important to Oklahomans throughout the world, and it's important for us all to be counted. So I urge you all to participate. Thank you.
If there are any other natives out there, but when you give a native man a microphone, no disrespect. So thank you, Bunky. You got fire emojis. You got 100 emojis. Aw, people appreciated your offering. So we are behind. So we're just going to move on to our next person whose name is Hannah Fields.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right. I'm so excited to see what you're going to do. Could you briefly tell us who you are and if you're tied to any organization or community, and then the importance of the census and voting outreach to you?
Got it. Hi, hello. My name is Hannah Fields. I am 14 years old. Also, the census is actually an extremely important thing since it's a way to go ahead and give communities money. And another thing that we need to use for money is for school, because you have no idea how many times my dad has actually asked me about something, and he's like, your education system is failing. And you don't know how many times last year we have had scares about teachers leaving in the middle of the year or quitting because they did not have enough money. And most teachers have to pay out of pocket to decorate their classroom, which is actually necessary. And so it is extremely important because it does not only affect you, but it also affects the future.
You are so the future. I want a bunch of Hannahs like in every community lined up, just telling us what to do. What do we need to do, Hannah? So thank you so much for sharing and for just being a young advocate. Again, just like Darian earlier and Parker, young advocates. Yes, we hear you. We need you. So go ahead, Hannah, with your talent. Want to hear from you.
Got it. Coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine. Gotta be down because I want it all. It started out with a kiss. How did it end up like this? It was only a kiss. It was only a kiss. I'm falling asleep and she's calling a cab while he's having a smoke and she's taking a drag and I'm going to bed and my stomach is sick and it's all in my head, but she's touching his chest now. He takes off her dress now. Let me go. I just can't look. It's killing me and taking control. Jealousy, turning saints into the sea, turning through sick lullabies, choking on your alibis. But it's just the price I pay. Destiny is calling me. Open up my eager eyes, 'cause I miss his bright side. I'm coming out of my cage and I'm doing just fine. Gotta be down. We started out with a kiss. How did it end up like this? It was only a kiss. It was only a kiss. Now I'm falling asleep and she's calling a cab while he's having a smoke and she's taking a drag and they're going to bed and my stomach is sick and it's all in my head, but she's touching his chest. Now he takes off her dress. Now let me go. 'Cause I just can't look. It's killing me and taking control. Jealousy turning saints into the sea, spinning through sick lullabies, choking on your alibis. But it's just the price I pay. Destiny is calling me. Open up my eager eyes, 'cause I miss this bright side. I never I never.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was amazing. If I was your mama, I don't know how you'd have like a dry eye in the house. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. I think that song's older than you though, Hannah. Okay, well, is your sister ready?
Yes, she's actually right here.
Yay! Hello. Hi, Kristlyn. We can barely see you. Oh, there you are. I love this. So, your sister was sharing a little bit about dollars that the school needs, talking about how teachers have to pay out of pocket for their school supplies and school decorations because our schools aren't fully funded, which means they don't get the full money that they need. I don't know if you can talk about that, but maybe you can tell us, yeah, you can tell us whatever you want, and then you can start singing if you are ready.
Thank you. So the school is being fixed, but they don't have enough money, and we've been going around with chocolate bars selling them, but we still don't have enough money for it because we're running out. So
So there,
and we like about school because the teachers are so nice and they help us, but we don't want them kicked out. So we need more money. And I think I'm ready
that's
to sing.
Oh, you're good, you're good. Yeah, no, that's perfect. I mean, that's true to a student in the school systems right now. I've been out of the school system for a long time, but I have little ones like you who are in, who, yeah, are experiencing the same issues where you have to fundraise for your school so that they can have the supplies that you need to be able to learn. So if everybody was counted in the census, we might have more money coming to the schools and it would be less fundraising that you would need to do, and there would be no fear of the teachers having to quit to find another job, or there would be enough money to pay them. So I appreciate you, Kristlyn. If you will go ahead and share with us your talent.
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to sing Frozen. There was once a knight and a prince to be seen. Kingdom was election. It's like I'm the queen. The wind is howling like the storm rage inside. Keep it in, and I know I tried. Don't let them in, don't let them see. Be a good girl, you always had to be. No fear, let them know. But now let it go. Let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. That perfect girl is gone. They're going to say, let the storm rage on. Oh, it never bothers me anyway. Everything small. There's nothing gets me at all. To see what I can do. Can't jump limits and break through. There are no rules for me. I'm free. Go, let it go. I'm one with the wind and the sky. Let it go, let it go. You'll never see me cry. Here I lay, and here I lay. Let the storm rage on. The rubber swirling through the edges of the ground. Broken heart, it's frozen until all around. I see glass, and we're going back. Past is in the past. Let it go, let it go. It's like the wind of dawn. Go, let it go. My big girl is gone. Let the storm rage on. Will never bother me anyway.
Oh, thank you. I am not very familiar with that song. I just know the Let It Go part. And so I'm glad that you could sing in where I couldn't. But I appreciate that so much, Chrislyn. I believe your mom, Krista, is she around? She
Yes.
had some, yeah. Can we see? Hi, Krista. I didn't know if you're going to be on screen. Yes.
Hey.
Hey, your
How
kids
are
are
you?
amazing. Oh, I'm good. How are you doing?
Better. I'm doing a lot better. A lot better. I was
Well,
sick earlier this week.
oh, I'm so sorry to hear.
Yes, so we need to wear our mask and wash our hands and be good neighbors and good citizens.
For sure, for sure.
My goodness, everybody just joined in. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Yes,
So-
this is why you need to go and get online census. Online census. You can even call census. Because you have to count everyone, whether they have jobs, whether they clean their room. Hey, telling it like it is. We need money in our communities.
We are learning. You never told me.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate y'all. So you're part of a TOK chapter? You're a volunteer?
Well, I just recently got married, and so I now live in northern Oklahoma in this lovely little town called Fairland. And so it is me and my lovely 3 daughters have added to the community of Fairland. So, of course, 3 extra bodies for Fairland in the census. Yay. But since I've moved, I really have been active in our local party. There is a small local party. But also encouraging people to go out and vote. I was a part of a coalition that went out to encourage people to go out and vote and to get registered for voting. And so we would go door to door or to functions in the community and encourage people and ask them, are you registered? Have you moved? If you moved, then let's re-register you. So you can go ahead and vote and have your voice count. So I know that earlier you were talking about how people of color have ancestors who have died, and they've died for the opportunity for us to be able to vote. And it's not just for people of color, but for everyone to have the right to vote. And so a lot of times people feel like it's not their responsibility anymore, but it is. It is your right. It is your responsibility to go out and vote. And so I did a little, not a lot, I did a little research, but in Oklahoma, only 21.2% of the population voted in the last presidential election. Like, that is, now, 21% as a grade in school is not passing. So Oklahoma, we are failing our communities by not voting, and it's not just for presidential elections. It's for dog catcher. It's for police sheriffs. Please don't do that. It is for school board members. Every time there is an opportunity to vote, you need to vote and have your voice be heard, because complaining and getting on Twitter and social media and complaining about so-and-so did this, I don't like that, and this is a mess. Well, you had an opportunity to go and have your voice heard when we had elections. And when you don't go out and vote, then you are silencing your voice. And I don't know who wants people to make decisions for them. We are adults, 18 and older adults. So you get to make decisions for yourself. And that is how you make decisions for yourself, is by voting. So you choose a candidate, the one that closest matches your values. You may not find one that does exactly match, but that closely matches your values, and you vote for them. So that way you have an opportunity to make your voice heard. And then you have to go and follow up and talk to your representatives, talk to your governors, email them, text, call.
Yeah, you're good. You're still here.
Okay, I didn't know. Also, about the census, it doesn't take a lot of time to fill out the information. And the census is not just, like I said, those that have jobs, those that you deem of importance, like the elders in your family. It's if they are born, whether they are in a diaper, trying to walk, crawling, won't sleep at night, their voices need to be counted, because what happens is during the census, they take those numbers and they try to plan for the future. So if you've given birth to twins, they won't know about it if you decide not to go and register them on the census. So that means there will be less space in schools, less textbooks, less community centers, just less hospitals, because they're not expecting the amount of people. So you have to register every person in the household. So also, the numbers that they use from gathering the information from the census, that data is used to help track the progress being made in that community. So they can figure out whether or not they have enough hospital rooms, whether or not they need to go and have more doctors, whether or not they need to open up another school, whether or not they need to go and create more housing, more affordable housing, or what is affordable housing for your community. So that's just my tidbit about going out, being a good citizen, being a good American, being a good Oklahoman, a good Texan. Go out, make your voice heard, right?
Thank you so much. Yes, all of you. Yeah, thank you. And you're so everything you said was right on. It's so true. We need to RSVP for that party.
Yes.
We need to make
Yes.
sure that there are enough party supplies. No, I'm just kidding. Not
Yes.
literally, but yeah, we need
I
to make sure.
know.
Yeah.
Who wants to give up free money? Like, this is $1.5 trillion, and we want our piece of the pie. Like, come on.
Wait, what?
Yes, girl.
Yeah, we need
Well, I appreciate y'all.
school.
We're running behind, so we're gonna say goodbye. Thank you so much, and we're gonna move on to our next talent. Thank you, ladies, so much. Yeah, Miss Krista and her family were so on point. I definitely want to hear from this next person, Jose Rubio. Are you in the studio? Hello.
Hi, I had myself muted, but
Cool. Yeah, so just real quick, if you could introduce yourself, if you're tied to any organization or community, and then your thoughts on census and or voting outreach.
yeah, so my name's Jose Rubio. I am actually the Deputy Executive Director of Dream Action Oklahoma. We already had Darian, which did amazing, and so far everybody's great, like great amount of talent. But yeah, so I'm actually doing a drawing, or I did a drawing and have a recording, and kind of will talk about like the importance of voting through that drawing. So yeah.
Yeah, I saw a little preview, and I'm so excited to see how this is going to happen. So let's get with it. Thank you.
Cute. So the idea, I think, if it's showing, not sure. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so kind of the idea of the drawing is just really to show, it's kind of like those old political cartoons that were in newspapers. I wanted to just visualize the difference between voting and not voting. So it's actually two sketches here that you'll see towards the end. One is like the result of people not voting because they think that their vote doesn't matter. Um, when in reality, you know, one vote can make a huge difference. Or even with the census, like just from one family doing the census, that can change a lot. So here you see kind of like Oklahoma's capital, and this is kind of like when people think that our vote won't matter, it's the capital itself is kind of like breaking down. And that the capital really just represents Oklahoma. I mean, and since it's where decisions are being made ultimately that affect a lot of communities, that's why I chose to do the capital. But you'll see like the pieces that falling out, and essentially those pieces each represent an issue that is happening currently, right? So you'll see one like voting rights, one for immigration. You'll see like different issues around the pieces of the capital. But yeah, and just kind of also in the meantime, yeah, then you'll see it's just like pretty much quick sketch here. But and then the next piece for that it's going to come out is going to be basically people putting back the capital together, connecting all those pieces and rebuilding it. And essentially that represents if we actually go out and vote, these issues that we care about so deeply are actually listened to and people actually make the change. And it's ultimately not the people inside the capital that make the change, but it's the people outside of the capital, the people that are voting, those people in that are doing the actual change. But yeah, and I think just so I'm undocumented, so I think the significance of voting has always been a huge thing for me, especially since I'm not able to vote, which I think that's one of the reasons that I find civic engagement extremely important. And then the census, like y'all were saying, it's a great way for even like undocumented families to be a part of the process, right? So even undocumented families can help and can have their voices be listened through the census. And even if they can't vote, they can encourage others and push elected officials to make a change. But yeah, I think the drawing's almost done here. should have added some music onto the drawing. Yeah, it's always people who actually make the change. We're the ones who put people inside those positions, and we're the ones that can get them out of those positions if they don't actually do what they're supposed to and represent our actual communities. But, yeah, so you see like the little people putting back, and we removed the people from the bottom that were just watching as the state was crumbling, essentially because they thought that their vote actually wouldn't matter. And then you see some of I voted stickers kind of acting as a tape to fix the Capitol as well. But yep.
That's so cool. Yeah, it was. I didn't, I got a sneak peek of your, like, I didn't realize it was just going to come together like that. But yeah, that's really an amazing capture with respect to somebody like yourself who is not able to practice that part of civic engagement while you are a contributing, member of our society, of our community. Yeah, it's people who make the changes that people need. Love that for our community. Good to have you here, Cynthia. Um, well, I definitely appreciate your talent and providing the information behind the illustration. That's so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll move on. We thank you, Jose. And if Miss Carolyn is ready, she doesn't have a talent she's going to perform that I know of, but she is a representative from the Together Oklahoma chapter in Ardmore, and we wanted to bring her on to speak to what the chapter does and give information for anybody who might be interested in wanting to join forces with Together Oklahoma, especially with respect to our census and voting outreach work. So, Miss Carolyn, you could go ahead.
Hi, I am, yes, a member of our Together Oklahoma in Carter County, and we have been or were a very active group meeting together until the shelter in place came, and now we do things by virtual togetherness. But we have been so active in the community in helping people complete and encouraging them to complete their Census 2020 and their Get Out to Vote thing also. We have set up locations at various places around the city and in the county to assist people in these opportunities because as a part of our constitutional rights to vote and to have our voice heard. So we're giving out constant reminders and through social media and other media for the importance of completing the census forms either online, by mail, or whatever. But we are there and available with phone numbers for people to contact so that we can stay with our groups. The setting up in the community, we had several community gatherings and activities, and we were always present by some of us. I always have to compliment Kyle Lawson and Roxanne Logan for starting us up and being the bulwark of our group. So we're thankful for having them. We're now depending, though, on virtual contact and keeping up to date on the different issues. We do our best to complete and to make our contacts as we put out door hangers reminding people about the census. We have, as again, I said, set up in several places around the community and county to encourage your voting and your completing of your census. It's my feeling that it's my civic duty to complete these census reports and to vote every chance that I get, because the things that come before us to vote on are the very things that each of us experience the help from. Particularly at this point, we're thinking about schools and starting back and how much we actually give or get whenever we complete these census reports, and the monies that come to us for hospitals and schools and transportation and on and on. So I have always, as an educator, a retired educator, emphasized when it was appropriate and at the time the importance of voting and expressing your feelings, because every vote does count. And I've started from kindergarten and worked away all the way through as a principal, but I always maintain those to advocate for participation in our society and our democracy. And I'm glad to be a part of this group today and listening to everybody else, because that's one of the ways that we can reach out and inform other people and hopefully bring in more people for our Together Oklahoma activities. Thank you for the Oklahoma Policy Institute for backing this and for supporting us. Thank you for today, and thank you so much.
Thank you for your hard work, Miss Carolyn. You're a retired school principal, right?
An elementary principal. I finished as an elementary principal. I taught high school for about 12, 15 years and then changed over to elementary for the love of children. And I always say, I hope they're taking care of those children like I took care of them when I was there, because they're the future of this nation.
Right on. Yeah, you know, very much a lot of respect for your position as an educator and then formerly as a principal. And yeah, we appreciate your work so much in your community, in the Ardmore community in Carter County. It's teamwork makes the dream work. So yeah, a lot of respect and admiration for you, and appreciate you coming on. So thank you, Miss Carolyn.
Thank you so much.
So we have just a couple more people for talent. We're going to go ahead and go on to Brenda Lozano. She was on earlier. Hey.
Hello. How are you?
Good. I'm good. We're rolling right along. A little behind, but it's no worries. I'm so thankful that you could make it amidst your schedule for today. So yeah, if you could briefly introduce yourself, any organization or community you're tied to, and then the importance of census and/or voting outreach.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And big shout out to Together Oklahoma for putting this together and continuing to push for census and civic engagement outreach. My name is Brenda Lozano. I am the current executive director for Dream Action Oklahoma. We're a queer and youth immigrant rights-based organization, and we predominantly work in the Oklahoma area. But we do have partnerships with organizations across the nation, like United We Dream. My work specifically right now, doing immigrant rights in Oklahoma, is definitely focused on catalyzing and working with youth, because they are the change that we want to see. So being youth-led is something that we carry and we push for, and we're continually advocating for. So seeing young people on this live, so talented, doing things that I could probably never do, like seeing on camera, made me really excited. But one thing that I wanted to talk about specifically for my immigrant community in Oklahoma que habla español es sobre la importancia de tomar el censo. Sabemos todos que en estos momentos la administración ha atentado a ponernos un miedo para no tomar el censo, y les quiero recordar la importancia de ser contados, porque es la manera en la cual el gobierno puede regresarnos dinero a nuestras comunidades. Eso incluye el dinero que usan las escuelas, los parques, las carreteras. Siempre nos quejamos que la 29 tiene bien muchos hoyos, siempre nos quejamos de la 25, y una manera en la cual nosotros podemos contribuir siendo personas inmigrantes, siendo personas que hablan español, es por parte de tomar el censo. And so I just reminded everybody who is Spanish speaking about why we should be focusing on taking the census, which includes the money that our communities deserve and are entitled to, which include our schools, our parks, our roads, things like that. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started on my talent. I don't know that I'd call it a talent, y'all, but we're gonna try. So today I'm gonna be reading a poem by a poet, the name Juan Felipe Herrera. Juan is a poet who specifically focused on the Chicano uprising movement and specifically wrote on migrant children, and further wrote about the farm workers during his time. And so I believe heavily in art. I believe heavily in the push for us as a community to find resilience and strength in our words, in our songs, in those traditions that are passed down through cultures. And so el día de hoy, I'm gonna be reading Let Us Gather in a Flourishing Way by Juan Felipe Herrera. Okay. Let us gather in a flourishing way, with sun luz grains abriendo los cantos que cargamos cada día. En el young pasto, nuestro cuerpo, para regalar y dar feliz perlas, pearls, of corn flowing árboles de vida. En las cuatro esquinas, let us gather in a flourishing way. Contentos, llenos de fuerza, to vida, giving nacimiento to fragrant ríos. Dulces, frescos, verdes, turquoise, strong carne de nuestros hijos, rainbows. Let us gather in a flourishing way. En la luz y en la carne of our heart to toil. Tranquilos. In fields of blossoms, juntos to stretch los brazos, tranquilos. With the rain en la mañana, temprana estrella on our forehead, cielo de calor, and wisdom to meet us, where we toil siempre. In the garden of our struggle and joy, let us offer our hearts, a saludar our águila rising, freedom, a celebrar woven brazos, branches, ramas, piedras, nopales, plumas, piercing, bursting figs and aguacates, ripe mariposa fields and mares claros of our faces. To breathe, todos en el camino, blessing, seeds to give, to grow. Maiztlán en las manos de nuestro amor. So thank you to all of you who were listening. Thank you for sharing space. I know this is virtual, but the poem altogether talks about the importance of us coming together as community and feeling the earth and feeling our company and finding resilience and strength. So take the census, participate if you can in voting, and thank you for having me today.
That is amazing. Thank you so much. I understand that you are reading not your own poem, but I still think it does require talent to get the emphasis in the right places so that it was impactful in the way it needed to be. And I think it's perfect. Yeah, I really appreciate you making the time. I really love our frequent collaborations with Dream Action. And yeah, just looking forward to continue collaborations and, hopefully visiting with you again, Brenda.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So our next talent is by way of one of our organizers. Jacoby Crowley is our organizer, and I believe, is it your mom that's going to offer some talent to close us out tonight? You're still muted, guy.
My bad. Look, my bad. I'm over here talking. Yes, she is. My mom is a line dance instructor for hip hop and R&B here in Southwest Oklahoma. She's well known for her her ability to do line dances towards different things, and we're going to offer this, and she teaches it as well. So she's going to teach one line dance. Come on, Mom, real quick. Say hi.
Hello. Hi.
This is my mom right here. And her name is Virginia Crowley. She's a line dance instructor for, what's your organization called? L-Town Royalty, Kings and Queens, right?
Yes. Hi, I'm Virginia Crowley, and I am the owner of the L-Town Royalty Line Dance Team. And I'm here to teach y'all how to do some line dancing and to have fun. I am a community instructor, so we do line dancing in the community, teaching people how to come out and just lessen their stress by dancing. So, yeah, here we go. Yeah.
Is this the Census Shuffle?
Hey, you can call it a census.
Here we go. We come to do the Census Shuffle.
It's called To Be Real.
To Be Real.
To Be Real.
To Be Real by Mary J. Blige. This is Census Shuffle, y'all.
Here we go. Let's go.
Here we go.
You ready, Mom? Turn this way, Mom.
Okay, then this way?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yes. Good job, Mom.
Now
Tell
that
people to fill out the census.
Yes, hi. Again, I'm Virginia Crowley, and I think it's important about the census because I am 53 years old. And so what I encourage people to do, to tell your friends, tell your teenage kids, let your friends know that to get the census in, make sure that you filled out your census, you need your census, because we need the money for the community.
Thank you so much, Virginia. This is like reasons to move to Lawton, Oklahoma.
Yes, it's so much fun. We enjoy having fun, plus we're exercising.
Right. Yeah. All those endorphins. So it's like physical wellness, mental wellness, and then
Yes.
you can learn how to do the census, get out the vote, shuffle.
Yes, a vote shuffle. We can do that.
I'm
Do a
looking
voting
forward
shuffle.
to it. Cool. Well, thank you, Miss Virginia. That concludes our event for tonight. Jacoby, if you'll hang tight, because I'll ask for some final remarks. But just real quick, for those of you still with us in the audience, wanted to announce our 3 audience members who won a gift card tonight. Nancy Tecumseh Mason, Lucinda Esquimire Myers, and Dulce Montoya. Excuse me. That again was Nancy Tecumseh Mason, Lucinda Esquimire Myers, and Dulce Montoya. If you all would private message us your email and your mailing address so that we can get your gift card to you. We'll follow up in the private message. And then we didn't make this known publicly. I don't know if I was supposed to keep it a secret or if I just forgot, but we wanted to also award one of our talent just in terms of emojis that were posted. So the person who had the most fire and 100 emojis was Miss Hannah. I believe that was our Mr. Brightside singer. So we'll get with her and get her her award to her. So much appreciation to all the talent. Yeah, talent show winner. It really wasn't a contest. We just for fun were like, let's just go ahead and do this. Yeah. So we'll kick over to on the screen that I see, Jacoby. Do you have any final parting remarks you want to make as we close?
Hey, awesome talent by everybody. Thank you again, Jasha, for providing us the opportunity to be here today. Again, make sure you fill out your census. We have a few more months left for you to do so. And make sure if you have filled out your census, you are one step closer to making sure that your community is getting funded, but you're not done yet. You have to make sure everyone on your street, everyone in your town, everyone in your community, in your church, and wherever else you may congregate fills out the census so we all can be counted and so we all can have a better benefit towards our community. So thank you again.
Well said, Jacoby. Let's go to Kyle. Any final remarks?
Hey, yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, Jasha, for putting this event together, and thank you, Jessica, who's on the back end, who came out from vacation just to help us put this event together. And thank you to all of the talented folks from throughout Oklahoma who joined us this evening. We had a great virtual attendance. This is phenomenal. Just remember, get out the count and get out the vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. And finally, Roxanne, a final remark?
Well, I just want to repeat some of what the volunteers have said tonight. And what Krista said was, with a population of 650,000 people in Oklahoma, if everyone is counted, and I'm sure that's an old number, we would receive $1.5 billion because of the census. And with regard to the voters, everyone needs to vote. But first, you need to register, and that is the first step in the process. It doesn't count unless you actually vote. And I also want to point out that felons in this state can vote. They can register to vote if they're completely clear off the paper. There are many that don't know that, and they are delighted when they learn that. They're not completely stripped of that right. So I wanted to point that out, and I just want to make sure that everyone does a census and registers to vote.
Thank you, Roxanne. I just want to recap just because I think it wasn't all clear. So she said that we want to make sure that our felons in the state know that they can vote once you served your time, not just your sentence. Well, it's your sentence in its entirety. So whether that's part of your sentence was served in incarceration or in prison, then you serve your probation out, then your voting right is reinstated. And that's so true. Not a lot of our formerly incarcerated folks know that. That we are eligible for $1.5 trillion. So we want to make sure everybody in Oklahoma is counted. And then she just continued to stress the importance of getting the vote out. If you get registered, that's one part. Then you need to get to the polls. So yeah, Kyle, Jacoby, and Roxanne are part of the Together Oklahoma team. So if you are interested in learning more about our work, please visit with either of them. You can find their information at togetherok.org. I think I said the website wrong earlier. It's togetherok.org. And yeah, we're always looking to start a chapter in anywhere in Oklahoma. We're nonpartisan. So this is not any party specific. It's all this work is nonpartisan work. So thank you all to you all, yeah, for your lift in providing these volunteers, because these volunteers did come from the respective organizing communities within Oklahoma through Together Oklahoma. I will go ahead real quick and highlight that we will have 2 events next week on our Together Oklahoma platform, social media platforms. We will come together 1 week from today for a Censoteria, which is a census loteria, and it's completely in Spanish. So for those of you who are Spanish speaking, please come back and join us next Tuesday at 6 p.m. We will play games. We will have fun. You will win, and there will be prizes for the winners. And then on July 30th, it's already July, almost the end of the month. But July 30th, that's a Thursday, we will be back here at 6 p.m. on Together Oklahoma, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube for our Medicaid anniversary party. Yes, we have a Medicaid anniversary day of action that Together Oklahoma will be putting out. We'll have more information forthcoming, but that day will consist of just us talking to you about celebrating Medicaid and reflecting on the passage of Medicaid expansion and what we will need to do to ensure that Medicaid expansion is going to stay here fully funded. They can't remove it, but just making sure that there's nothing that's going to be a barrier to it. And then as far as our programming with regards to Census and Medicaid, we're going to have a road show where we're going to hear from some folks who have been impacted by Medicaid. So again, that's July 30th at 6 p.m. And then I want to end with our statement about the executive order, which has been shared on our social media. The Constitution requires that every person living in our nation must be counted through the census. Today's executive order undermines this clear directive and runs counter to our nation's governing document. This order is steeped in racism and merely serves as a political distraction from the important work that must be done to ensure an accurate census count this year. Our communities depend on an accurate census count in order to secure Oklahoma's fair share of federal funding. Today's order will make that census work harder by further dividing our nation and by sowing seeds of distrust about our government within hard-to-count communities. If they have not already done so, we encourage Oklahomans to complete their confidential census response either online or by phone. You can learn more at togetherok.org//census, but you can just go to togetherok.org and we have our census link at the top. But everyone living in Oklahoma is valued and must be counted in the 2020 census. So that concludes our programming. We appreciate all of you who have been out there in the audience viewing this entire time. Talent was amazing. Everything was fire. 100 emoji, raised hands, lots of love, thumbs up. And we'll see